Good afternoon. I'm Robert San. From your wallet to the wider economy, join us as we follow the money. Financial fatigue is hitting every generation differently. Some Gen Z workers are doom spending on experiences as home ownership feels further out of reach. Millennials are burning out from the hustle, and many Gen X Filipinos are juggling the cost of supporting both their children and aging parents. Online advice often says the answer is to earn more. But what if the bigger problem isn't just your income, but your money mindset? And to help us make sense of it, we're joined this afternoon by money mindset coach Nik Madriñan, a former overspender. She says she built a ₱1 million net worth by age 26 on a single corporate salary. Today, she helps professionals identify cash leaks and reach their financial goals. Good afternoon, Nik, and welcome to Follow the Money. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm so excited to dive into this topic because I feel like it's gonna free a lot of Filipinos from their financial struggles. Like
yes, hopefully a lot of the younger generation, not only the young, but also the older generation are having these types of problems. Now, let's get started, Nik. You say one income is enough. Now, what hidden opportunities do people unlock when they stop chasing multiple side hustles and focus on just optimizing the salary that they already have today?
Yes, because I really believe that one income stream can be enough if we manage it wisely. That's the part that we miss out on, which is because no amount of income will ever be enough if we don't have the proper money habits in place. So we need to focus first on our spending habits before we hustle and earn more, because we might be wasting our efforts instead of really looking into, okay, are there leaks in how I spend and how can I fix it so that when I earn more, I could actually save more.
Now, does this work for every type of income? Let's say 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month. Does that work?
It's definitely different. It varies because my take on that is one income stream is enough when you fix your habits. So I feel like if you're already able to master the habit of saving consistently, even if you start at 1,000 pesos, 500 pesos, and then when you start at only 20,000 salary, for example, you're still growing your savings. And then when you start earning more than 20K, you're going to feel confident that your savings will continuously grow. So it really differs depending on, of course, the situation of the person. So it really depends on the profiling. So it's at least what applies to everyone is really fixing their spending habits first.
I like when you said you have to give focus on diagnosing the leaks. Now, how do you tell a real cost of living squeeze from impulse spending in disguise?
I like the word disguise because sometimes we create excuses.
Yes.
I really need that, but is it? Is it really? So I'd say the difference is your impulsive spending when it's not intentional. When it was just spur of the moment as a way to escape something you're feeling, to avoid, to distract yourself from your real life problems. And ultimately, if it's dipping into your savings just to get into that impulse. Of course, it's different, as you said. If it's a cost of living squeeze, it could be like, okay, I still need to buy gas in order to place it.
The essentials, of course.
Yes, prices are higher, so of course it's going to eat up more of your income. But of course, it's different if your impulsive spending keeps eating up your income.
Now, if we look at generational money burnout, whether it's Gen Z doom spending, millennial side hustle burnout, or Gen X financial fatigue, now, is generational money anxiety a rational response to economic hopelessness, or just an excuse, again, to avoid the kind of discipline it needs to take to save?
I think both are valid. Of course, we need to be aware of the economical challenges. But at the same time, you also need to acknowledge when we're in denial of how we spend, of how we want to avoid our finances. Because most of the time, the most important step is acknowledging that you have a problem with spending. And then from there, it's easier to create a solution out of it. So even for me as a millennial, during the pandemic, I burnt out a lot because I thought na I've been working for years, I would have feel some kind of fulfillment. I would I would have earned more, I would have saved more, but it wasn't the case. So I feel like it's so important for us to look inward, to look deeper in terms of what do we really want out of life, so that we find more hope and purpose in our day-to-day life, and therefore it translates to how we manage our finances.
Now, if we look at different individuals, different kinds of workers, especially the breadwinners, how do you set financial boundaries without, with the families that you have, without having that toxic guilt all the time?
Yes, and it really starts with the money mindset, which is why this topic. Because even if I could tell a breadwinner, I'd be like, hey, maybe just allocate this much to give, to help others. But then if at the back of their minds, they're thinking, it's selfish to prioritize myself. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to disappoint them. I won't be able to please my family, my relatives, my cousins. Then they're going to keep overgiving. So it really starts with looking into healing those kinds of past mindsets and traumas. There's a lot of financial traumas attached to it also, because most of the time that guilt has been passed on from past generations. And really, we have the power now to challenge those outdated beliefs.
But it's a lot easier said than done today, Nik, especially the breadwinners, especially those working abroad, the OFW. Sometimes they don't really see where the money goes. You even see it in movies. We laugh about it, but deep inside, these are deeper problems. So how do you usually fix it, especially when you focus, when you talk to the real breadwinners?
Yes, I do deal with a lot of breadwinners, and the most common denominator I notice is that it's so easy to keep sacrificing, to keep giving away the money you have when you're not clear with what you want for yourself. Right? You don't have a clear direction for what are the goals, dreams, desires that you have. So when I ask them and help them map this out, they realize I haven't really thought of myself for a long time. I haven't even considered myself as a priority.
Yeah.
So if you're not a priority, you don't know what your goals and dreams are, then you're gonna keep giving away your money regardless. So it really starts with number one, knowing in the next 6 to 12 months, what are the milestones that you want to achieve for yourself, so that you can start filling your own cup and then give to others from a place of overflow.
Now, Nik, there's a lot of discussions and a lot of people teach budgeting, but you're very vocal. You don't really believe in the 50, 30, 20 budgeting and the tracking, and it seems to fail most people in the long run. Why do you say that?
Oh yes, because that was me. I was like, wait, is there something wrong with me? Because I've tried all of those things and I was still an impulsive buyer. I was a shopaholic. I still kept overspending. And so when I eventually met the same people who tried those things, it's not just me. And the reason why is because this may start off as a more rigid, strict way of budgeting your money. And if you're a past overspender or impulsive spender like me, when you're more restricted, you're more likely to relapse later on, because you're gonna feel like, deserve ko to. I've been working so hard because you've been so deprived for so long. And so it's important to, instead of focusing on tracking every single peso, really looking into how can you channel your resources towards what you truly want. Like, what is really worth spending on and saving up for, that would contribute to having more value into your life. And so that's my philosophy, is focusing more on the positive outcomes instead of depriving yourself through these kinds of budgeting methods.
Now, Nik, did you learn on your own when you said you were overspending? Did you have to do it on your own, or did you have a mentor? Did you seek help?
Honestly, I felt alone. When I was going through this, I was like, is there something wrong with me? Because I know I want to save, but I still end up giving into the sale and all. So I grew up with my dad as my mentor when it came to finances, but then his view was more very rigid.
Traditional.
Yes, traditional. And so I had to find a middle ground. Like, I appreciated my dad bringing up numbers to me when I was in high school, like how to prepare for retirement. Like, I remember my dad doing that. But when I started earning money, I had to find a middle ground of what's a healthy balance of preparing for my future while also enjoying life.
Did
And
you
I
find
think
it? Did you find the middle ground?
yes, yes, I believe there is. Because, for example, for me, yes, I have my emergency fund that's untouched, but I've also had fully funded trips. I have my travel fund. I'm still able to enjoy traveling to different countries without compromising my finances. And I think with Gen Zs, millennials, we love to travel, but there's a misconception that you're going to have to destroy your finances enjoy. But I believe that there is a healthy balance.
But realistically, for somebody earning 10, 15, 20,000 and a breadwinner, can they actually do this?
That's where I need to, if someone brings that up for me, I need to understand their current situation because it's very different if 10K for someone who's living with their parents, no expenses, versus 10K with 3 kids. Or
Oh, yes.
10K as a breadwinner. So that if it's the latter, then this person needs to focus on how can I upskill so I could increase my income. But if it's the previous one, which is that I actually have a lot of disposable income, even if I just have 10 to 20K, then it means that a good starting point is really looking into how can you save consistently and balance spending and enjoying life.
Now, let's go back to your statement, Nick, that's saying you can actually live on one income alone. Because today, because of technology, what we're seeing online now, we're seeing a great boost in side hustles. But why do you say that aiming for, let's say, 5 to 7 income streams can cause more anxiety than wealth?
Yes. To be fair, it's okay to have those multiple income streams. It's only dangerous when you keep relying on them to feed into your bad spending habits. You cannot out-earn bad spending habits. So what happens is what I see all the time with clients, they come to me telling me, I've hustled so much. I'm working 24/7. I work weekends, especially OFWs. They have endless jobs and shifts. But how come I still can feel like I'm saving enough? Because when they're stressed from hustling so much, what do? Retail therapy or investing.
We'll
Stress
talk a
buying.
little bit more about that. Yung laging sinasabi, yung retail therapy and the like. But we'll just take a short break, Nick. When we return, we'll talk more about the emotional triggers behind impulse buying and when a strong money mindset isn't enough to build wealth. Stay with us. Keep following the money. Welcome back to Follow the Money, and still with us is money mindset and life coach Nik Madriñan. Now, Nick, before the break, we were talking about what we hear every day, retail therapy. If you want to have therapy from the stresses of daily life, but we always hear that to combat stress. But what is the emotional root, the deeper root of overspending, and why does a pay raise never fix that?
I'm guilty of that. I've done a lot of retail therapy. And that's why I know a pay raise won't fix it. Because I thought, if I get the extra bump, the extra bonus,
Yeah.
but then it all went back to the retail therapy. So going into the root. So I would say it boils down to two root issues. Either you're spending from wanting to fill an unmet need or unresolved desire. So for example, for me, my unresolved desire then was that I was actually so unfulfilled in my career that I was using shopping as my coping mechanism to feel some kind of fulfillment.
Did it help?
No.
Walang therapy man lang
It's not gonna be enough. It's gonna work for a while.
for a while until you don't have money anymore.
Yeah, and that's what we don't want. Like that's what happens if it's rooted in overspending. you're gonna feel more anxious that, okay, I'm earning more, but then my savings, my bank account doesn't reflect it. So I often say, when you're in that cycle, you can ask yourself questions like, what are you distracting yourself from? What are you escaping from? Because most of the time, shopping is just a distraction. It's just an escape from real life problems that you don't want to face.
But isn't it also a problem because right now, because of technology, because of online shopping, it's so easy to shop now, and every month you have sales. Ang dami niya, yung mga ads, it really goes into your feeds.
Oh, for sure. I'd say like that's a factor also. But then I'd say that's also a surface level issue. Because even for me, I thought if I just deleted the shopping apps, I would be good. But then I could easily reinstall it again.
Yeah.
Until I actually fixed the root issue. So for me, the root issue then was I lacked purpose and direction in my life. I felt so empty and unfulfilled. And so it's so easy to get that dopamine hit from shopping. But then it's very short term. It's not lasting.
Now, when we look at the business or the financial community, they always teach that, it's very important to have the kind of mindset, right? Mindsetting. But when does mindsetting actually hit a ceiling, requiring more aggressive market investing to beat the inflation that we're experiencing today? So where's the balance there?
I'd say the mindset is the foundation. And then when that foundation is solid, then you can easily build on these skills. So for example, if you have the right foundation of saving can allow me to fund life milestones, it doesn't make me feel deprived and restricted, okay, then it means that you've already had that solid saving foundation. Okay, then you're ready to do the next thing, which is investing. So because I also believe that you can just stop in saving because ultimately 30 years from now, the amount you save is nothing. So, but at the same time, your investment could easily turn into a liability if you're still an impulsive person.
Yes.
You could easily impulsively invest and then impulsively withdraw it. You could easily panic sell your stocks, withdraw your mutual funds, and then it's gone because you wanted to buy the sale. Right? So that's why having the right mindset with saving first, then it follows that, okay, if I can save consistently, that will prepare me to invest consistently. Like
Now,
for me, that's how it has compounded.
Now, when you talk about mindsetting, having the right mindset, it's very broad and wide. What kind of mindset do you really have to be able to get out of that cycle?
Yes. I love this question. I feel like we could go 2 hours for this, but I'll do my best. Money mindset is basically your thoughts and beliefs around money. So if you have limiting beliefs around money, it bleeds into your money decisions. So for example, like a breadwinner would say, it's selfish to prioritize myself. If that's the mindset, then she's going to keep giving away her money even if she has nothing left. Or for me, my mindset then was saving is depriving. Saving means sacrificing my happiness. So what did I do? Every time I saw a sale or a retail therapy moment, I'm gonna grab onto it. So those are the limiting beliefs in your mindset that you need to fix.
Yes.
But first you need to identify it, and then we fix it, and then reframe it into something more empowering so that you have new beliefs that will create a new money mindset and therefore create better money habits.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot about the kind of mindset you have, that you have to first fix yourself before you can help others. Where does that come in? How do you teach that? What kind of examples do you give those you teach in terms of really trying to embed that kind of mindset? Because it's hard. Building habits, it takes a long time.
Yes. So in my work, I've been trained in neuro-linguistic programming. So that's really understanding how our beliefs are formed to instill habits that stick. So I guide my clients with mindset reprogramming techniques to really dig deep into how were these limiting beliefs formed and how can we rewire them in a few exercises. So I'll give an example. Like I have a client who constantly had guilt about being a breadwinner, so she couldn't move out of her house. She couldn't leave her family, even though she wanted to move out with her husband. she couldn't do that because she was thinking, I'm gonna feel guilty leaving my family. And so we had to help her in healing that mindset because that was passed on from generations.
Yeah.
From the
Is
generation.
it also a problem that you see, Nick, that it's also part of our tradition, part of our culture, family, being together, you have to, that guilt feeling is always there. So how do we try to move forward from that without actually having to feel guilty?
Yes. Because as you said, there's a lot of beliefs from past generations that we have to challenge. Not necessarily challenge them, but challenge within yourself. Is that 100% true? That if I don't give all of my money, I'm selfish. If I say no to this, they're not gonna love me. So I remember I have a client who said, if I don't please my family, they won't love me. And then so I challenged her, is that true? If you don't say yes to every single thing, will they disown you?
Yeah,
so
it's very hard because it's really embedded in our characteristic and our culture as Filipinos.
Yes, and so that's why we have, fortunately and unfortunately, this generation, we have to do the work. We have to check in with ourselves. Is this still the truth we want to keep living by? And is it still serving us?
True.
It really starts with challenging it.
Yes. That's very true, Nick. Now I'm very interested. You developed a 15-minute system. Now, how do you manage a budget twice a month without daily tracking? What's in that 15-minute system?
Yes, I love to teach this to my clients because they always say, it could be this simple. I don't need to do tracking daily expenses. I don't need to plot everything in a budgeting app. So ultimately, it's the most simplest way I have developed because I also hated tracking my expenses every single day.
Yeah.
So I found a way.
Nakaka-stress rin yan, no?
Yes, because if we're spending more time tracking our expenses instead of enjoying our money, something needs to change, right? So managing our finances should free up our time to enjoy life, not the other way around.
True, but
So
in moderation.
Yes.
Yes.
So the three things I include in the system is flexible budget, a flexible budget, not a restricting one, an enjoyable spending system, and also a rinse and repeat spreadsheet that you can just do every single month. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So of course, tailored to your own income situation.
True. Okay, Nick, now we'll move on to our rapid fire segment of the program. Just quick questions and quick answers. Let's start with this. Traditional bank account, safety or guaranteed loss?
This is so hard. I can't explain, right? So I'll just say.
Just quick explanation lang. Sige. But which are you choosing first?
Safety, but should I explain? I cannot. Or I can.
Konti lang. Sige, go ahead. Very quick explanation.
Safety because most of, I've seen it with my clients that they still feel more safe putting their emergency fund in a traditional bank.
Okay.
So I feel like there. But for other investments, syempre, punta tayo sa ibang other methods.
Okay, true or false? Most people wanting a raise just have lifestyle inflation.
True.
True? Okay, which popular personal finance rule is complete garbage, the things that you see online?
One income stream is not enough.
You really focus on that. But marami kasi nagsa-side hustle. So you don't really subscribe to the Robert Kiyosaki way.
It's my personal philosophy because I've lived it and I've seen it with my clients. So that's why I will die on that hill.
Okay. Should someone in heavy debt cut out all fun or keep a fun budget?
I don't believe in cutting out all the fun. There needs to be a balance of enjoying and also clearing your debts.
Yes, kailangan talaga. Retail therapy. Okay, in one sentence, what's the biggest lie sold to the middle class today?
You need to hustle more to save more.
Yeah, true. And finally, Nick, for anyone overwhelmed, those watching today by money stress, what is that one critical action they should take right now to regain control of their life?
The first thing is always dig deep into what do you truly want out of life, because that will create the direction that you need to create your finances around it. Once you're clear on where you want to go, so will your finances. So if you want a clear direction with your finances, it starts with having a clear direction in your life.
Yes. Okay, on that note, Nik, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, sharing your insights and your advice to our viewers and those who really need help trying to get that right kind of mindset so that they don't spend all their money in one go. Thank you very much. And that's all for today. I'm Robert Tan. Thanks for watching. Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. And always follow the money.